You must have heard that travel helps you grow. And travel helps you grow in so many different ways that I'm going to make a whole series about it. But one way that travel helps you grow is that it allows you to realize and accept the fact that sometimes you're going to make a wrong decision. And the wrong decision is not a bad decision because you were stupid. It's just that you don't have all the information that you need in order to make an informed decision that would stand the test of time. And you would never have that until you make the decision and go forward with your life. You will see what I mean when we get into the actual story and I actually tell you what was the wrong decision that I made in this trip. So we're going to talk about day 4 in Slovenia. Just stick around. By the way, just because I say I made a wrong decision doesn't mean that it was not a good day. It was a great day. Day 4. So this is Sunny and you are watching Sunny Escapades. And we're talking about my Slovenia trip and we are up to day 4. If you have not watched the other parts yet, do watch them and subscribe if you haven't so that you can watch the next parts as well. So let's get right into it. And if you know me, you know that I'm going to start talking about food first. So I got about 7 o'clock and the first thing I do is take a shower so that it kind of helps me to get my day started right, whether I'm traveling or not. And you can try that sometimes if you feel curious. Just have the shower out of the way, then have breakfast, and then you feel like your whole day is in front of you to do whatever. You don't have to make a decision for the shower in between somewhere. Anyway, so I got to the breakfast room. I think I already told you in yesterday's story that breakfast room was quite nice. They had a lot of variety. I had a pancake with syrup yesterday, but today there was a twist in the story. When I got to the breakfast room, there was a woman circling around and she said, "Take a seat, I'll bring the food to you." And I was like, how would you bring me the food if you don't know what I want to eat? But I could not finish the sentence because I didn't know how to phrase it. What I wanted to say was, there is so much choice in this buffet. How would she know what I want to have? So I just, instead of looking like an idiot, I just told her that I'm vegetarian and then let her do her job. And she was right. She did it very well. She just brought me everything. So lots of fruit, coffee, other like lots of toast as well. And I got a fresh hot omelette, cheese omelette by asking for it. And yeah, so it was, by the time I finished, I was very full. It was better than yesterday. So, and I found out later on that if there are not too many people in the breakfast room for breakfast, like only a few guests, then they do table service. Otherwise, they let people fend for themselves. So I think it was Monday. That's why there was not that many people in the breakfast room. Anyhow, so I had a nice, lovely breakfast, then went back up to my room. I was supposed to check out at 11 o'clock. But like I've said before, I'm very used to this whole packing and unpacking thing now. So it takes me about 20 minutes to pack, especially if I've been in that room just for one night. So I was, easily I got out by 11 o'clock. Then from there, the next part was to go and drive up to Bohinj, Lake Bohinj. And because I had this car for a couple of days now, so now I was getting used to the car, was getting used to the way to keep it in the lane as well and not hit the pavement. Driving on the other side of the road as well was okay now because I drive in the UK and this was on the right hand side in Slovenia. So I was getting more comfortable driving the car. So that was a good thing. And previous night I had done some research using my best friend ChatGPT to ask, if I'm driving from Lake Blade to Lake Bohinj, are there any places on the way where I can stop? Because what's the point of having a car if you don't actually see the scenery on the road on the way? So I asked it, can I stop anywhere? And it gave me a couple of options. And the first one was called a village called Bohinjska Bela. Okay. And it was a nice, pretty village. This whole route was very beautiful. Lots of mountains, lots of greenery, some nice churches. It was absolutely fantastic. The road was good and there was not much traffic. So in every way, this was like a nice place to drive. So having a car in Slovenia is a good thing. So you should rent a car and just see the country that way. So anyway, so Bohinj was a very pretty village, but it was a very small village, and I had the same problem here, that I could not find where to park so that I could go to the river or something like that. So I stopped in one place in front of a very big gate of some institute, some military kind of place, I think, and did some research on the Google Maps, could not find anything very suitable. So I said, okay, let's keep going and then we'll see what we find. I had driven another maybe half an hour and I saw a nice church in the fields on my left hand side. And I was like, oh, this is the church that the ChatGPT was talking about when I was doing the research last night. So I said, okay, I want to take some pictures of this, and this is a nice place because there was not much crowd, so there was a good place to fly the drone. And the problem was that even though there was not much traffic, I had to find a place to stop because there was no shoulder on this road, and you could not just park in a field or anything like that. So I solved that by going around a few times. I just turned to the right and went around and came back. And after 2 rounds, I figured out how to do it. There was a village. I stopped in the village. I parked the car just on the normal small road in the village. There was no other cars parked there, but I just left it there. I just did lock the car. It was insured, but I did lock the car, just making sure. And from there, like a 5 minutes walk back to the river. This was a road, small road was parallel to the big road. Okay, I don't want to call it a highway, but it was kind of like a highway level of road, that one. So walked back to that, and I found a little very picturesque looking bus stop, which was like a wooden shelter in a triangle shape. Quite nice, quite photo worthy in itself, and there was nobody there. So I just there was a bench inside. I put my bag there and took my drone out, and it was lovely because it had been a foggy morning, but about 10 o'clock it had opened up. So now it was beautiful sunny weather, and the church was very pretty, and the drone was there. So I got some nice shots that I will like to show you now. So after taking lots of pictures of this, I did not finish the battery there because there was only this one church, not much other than that. Took as many pictures as I could, videos as I could, and then packed up the drone and then went back to my car. On the way back to my car, I saw a couple of ladies talking in the road. So I asked them about the village, as in like, are there any pubs or restaurants in this village? And they said no, there's nothing here, but if you go 2 kilometers, not miles, they use kilometers, so if you go 2 kilometers further in the direction that I was going, then there's Bohinj, and there you can find these things. I said, okay, cool. And I saw another person later on, because Slovenian people were so nice that I was very encouraged to just talk to strangers, and people spoke English quite a lot as well. So I asked this guy, as in that church, what's the name of that church? And he had to actually think about that church, because I think when you have something in your neighborhood, you get very used to it. So they probably just refer to it as the church. But for me, he had to scratch his head, and then he came with us. It's the Church of Maria Church or Marina Church. I think it was Maria, because like the Church of Saint Mary or something like that. So anyway, but my car was there, no damage, no problem, not got stolen. So just got in there. I had to realize that this was one of the ways to do things in Slovenia, that you could just leave the car by the side of the road and then do your thing, because it was pretty safe. Nobody came and honked, nobody towed it away, nobody dented it. It was all good. So next stop in a couple of kilometers was Bohinjska Bystrica. Okay, and this place was like a proper town. It was bigger than that village, much bigger than that village. It was not London or anything like that, but it was nice village. So they had a pretty big supermarket, which I loved because it had a big parking with lots of spaces. It had a toilet. It had like supermarket grocery type of things. It had a cafe, and also had an intersport shop for like sporting goods, apparel kind of things. So I bought some groceries from there, got some cakes, which were, the brand name was Sunny. So I find these things very, very funny. By the way, I'm still like a 5-year-old child in that way. So because it had my name on the brand, I took pictures, and I also bought a couple of packs of those cakes. I tasted them after I got back to England. I just packed them everywhere, and I kept keeping them in the bag, and they're nice. Anyway, so got that, and then after the grocery shopping and the cake shopping, I got a sub as well to save it for dinner, because like I told you, restaurants were very expensive here, so it was a good idea to buy stuff from supermarket and have that. And they had lots of good options, like some vegan and some vegetarian options as well. And the total bill that I had in the grocery shop was 24 euros. So that was not bad at all, actually. Then once I got back to the car, I did some more research using my friend ChatGPT, and there was a wooden footbridge near there, which I thought might be a good place for like taking some pictures and maybe even possibly fly the drone around that. So, and it was one of the touristy things as well, like it's a very pretty bridge. So I drove to that side. It was like maybe 2 kilometers, less than 2 kilometers. The problem was that the road that led to the footbridge was also a foot road. It was properly paved like a normal road, but it was very small. Like my car would not even fit on that. So I realized that this is maybe a cycle path. So what I did was, just like before, I parked it by the side of the road. There was a space by the side of the road, and just took some pictures for insurance later in case it got stolen. And just parked it and took my bag with me with the drone and everything. And I was right, it was just a cycle path, and it was maybe like a 2 minutes walk to the actual footbridge. And there was lots of space, lots of greenery. There was a wooden platform as well where I could stay to fly my drone. And there were a couple of people in the stream below who were fishing. And the water there, oh my God, the water was so clear, like glass. It was not a very deep stream, because they were standing there in their like fishing shoes, those shoes that come up to your thighs or something. So they were standing there in less than a knee deep of water. But oh, it was so gorgeous. I think I made a YouTube live video there as well, just because it was so pretty. And I flew the drone there. The drone was really good for the wooden wood footbridge and for the stream and some trees there. One time I actually almost lost the drone because I was looking at the trees from the camera. I lost the sight, so I had to bring it back, because legally you are only allowed to fly it as far as you can see. You have to always keep it in your sight. So I was trying to bring it back into my sight. I was trying to see, okay, which trees are there, and the trees were the wrong trees. So I was pushing it further away. Instead of the left, it was the right hand side trees. What happened was the drone ran out of battery. So when it runs out of battery, it starts beeping, and it starts to come back home, as in where you flew it from. Not your home in London, not your home in Doncaster, just where you flew it from last time, which was like 20 minutes back. So it flies up to 70 feet. That's what I've set it up, and then flies exactly overhead your head at 70 feet and drops down from there, steady down. So when it moved up there, I saw, oh my God, it was that way. I'm pushing it further and further away. So thankfully didn't lose the drone, didn't do anything illegal. Got that. It was lovely. And once I finished that, then I went back to the supermarket, because I liked it as a base of operations. It's a pretty nice place. And this time I went to not the supermarket this time, but yeah, used the toilet and everything, and then went to the Intersport and bought a pair of glasses, because the glasses that I had so far, remember I had those yellow weird glasses that some child would wear, but I had to have something, so that's why I had them. Bought them from Ljubljana airport. Here I bought proper glasses which were slightly better looking fashion wise, and also they were slightly darker, so they were nice. It's a brand called McKinley. I think it's a European brand. They were about £37. So yeah, not very expensive, but it's not like very branded as well, so it was pretty good deal. And then I went to the cafe. There was a nice little cafe. All these places were so lovely there. The vibe was so amazing that I think you should just check these places out. Bystrica, Bohinjska Bystrica, such a lovely place. And you can see all the names in the videos as well, like to what the supermarket was, what the cafe was and all of that. And I had a toasty and a coffee, and my bill was only like €5.90. Yeah, it was that cheap. This is why I say that I made the wrong decision, because I stayed in Lake Blade 2 nights. Instead, I should have stayed 2 or 3 nights in Lake Bohinj. It was a much cheaper and much better and less crowded area than Lake Blade, less touristy. The lake didn't have a castle in the island in the middle, but other than that, it was nice. I'll tell you about the lake as well in the next part. But so we're talking about the area itself. The area itself was nice. So €590. But the problem was that they only took cash. This was the first time I had come across a place where they did not accept card. So I was screwed because I had no cash, zero cash, not even a 10 cents coin. Okay, so what to do? The fortunate thing was, and I'm extremely lucky when I get into situations like that, then I always have a way out. And in this case, the way out was there was an ATM, the bankomat. They call it bankomat. Remember that if you need to find a bankomat there, if you need to ask somebody where the cash machine is. So if you have watched the first part of this, first and second part, you would remember that I was looking for an ATM in Ljubljana, and I spent like a couple of hours looking for that because, oh yeah, there was a place there as well. Sorry, I forgot. That place was there, which was also a street food kind of place, like a lunch counter, and they also took only cash. But there I could not buy it because every ATM that I went to, they were charging about €6 for a withdrawal, and I did not want to do that. I hate the ATM fees. So in this place there was this ATM, and it did not charge me any fees. And remember this one thing as well, when you are in a foreign country and it says, do you want to convert or not convert, as in do you want to take the money in a local currency or withdraw the money in your home currency, always say the local currency, because then the conversion will be done by your card. So in my case it's the Monzo card, and they give me a really good rate for the conversion. Okay, so you probably would have a better rate from your home card, like Halifax or Santander. All these banks, they would give you a better rate than that ATM there. But the good thing was it did not have any charges for the withdrawal. Okay, so I came back and then paid them the money plus some tip for that. It was a lovely cafe. I would highly recommend that. Then from there, it was to go forward and drove onwards. Then I came to another church and I realized that this is why that previous church looked familiar, because all the churches have the same design. They look so beautiful. It's like a child's drawing with crayons. They're very colorful. They have very sharp angles to them. And there would be one spire, I don't know whether you would call it a spire or a tower, which has a triangular kind of top, and then next to that would be the church building. And they are absolutely gorgeous. I'm not a religious person at all, so don't talk to me about churches and temples in that sense, but if it has a beautiful architecture, I can appreciate that, whether it's a temple or a gurdwara or a mosque or a church. Okay, so this place had two things for its fame. One was this church, which was a nice church and bigger than the previous one, and also a stone bridge next to it. By the way, speaking of churches, there was a church next to the supermarket as well in the Bystrica. So Bohinjska Bystrica, there was a church next to there as well. Did not fly there because it was an urban area. But this place was nice. There was a stream next to, there was a river. I think the river is called Sava River, Sava. I think the French people would like that because they say Sava. Sava means how are you? And this is how this like Sava bien. Anyway, so the Sava River was there and the mountains in the distance and this stone bridge and the church. It was like the perfect storm of a photo opportunity and drone opportunity. So, and again, another thing was that there were some steps going down, the wooden steps. You could go right to the edge of the water, and that was like a little bank where I could easily, there was a bench as well, so put the bag down, get the drone out, and I think arguably my best photos and videos are from that stop. So let me show you and then you can be the judge whether these are the best in the whole Slovenia series so far or not. Here we go. So you can see how beautiful that looked, that little water corner and the bridge and the church as well. So once I was satisfied, I was happy that I have taken as much footage as I possibly can and the battery was running down on the drone. Then I went forward. So this day, if you're counting, I got to fly the drone 3 times. First on that little church when I just stopped in the middle of the fields. That little village was called Bitnje. Bitnje, Bitnje. So there I stopped there. That was the first one. Second one was the wooden footbridge, and the third one, the stone bridge. So I got to fly my drone 3 times and got some amazing pictures. So I was really happy by this time. And then from there, I had to drive to the apartment that I had rented for tonight. And that apartment was called Apartmai Traglev. Traglev is a Traglev National Park area, which is where I was now, and that apartment was named after that. And the check-in was done by a lovely lady called Marietta. She had sent me messages before from booking.com to say that the breakfast arrangement has changed and this is the new arrangement, all that. I'll talk about that in the next part because that breakfast was something to talk about as well. But anyway, so from the church, the apartment was about 600 meters away. So like 5 minutes and I was there. And so I checked in and had some chat with her, lovely chat, and then checked out the apartment. The apartment was very nice. It had a bedroom, a living room, a small kitchen, which was very well equipped as well, and obviously a nice bathroom. Everything was good size without being huge like Villa Blade, and everything was modern. And from the window I could see Lake Bohinj. I knew that I would be able to, because that's what I had booked, but it was good that they were true to their word. And it had a very nice homey vibe. Like I said, if I had known what I learned now, I would have spent 2 or 3 nights in Lake Bohinj and I would have stayed in this apartment. This apartment was really nice, very, very comfortable. Okay, so it had all the things, all the heating and the windows and everything. So if I wanted to cook there, I could cook as well. I didn't because I had brought the sub, remember? So I just commandeered the dining table for my laptop and then copying my stuff, the footage and all that. And one thing that I have noticed is that these countries, they're very, very quiet. The first time I learned to play guitar when I was learning and I went from UK to India, I realized how much noisy India is. Even in a normal house, in a normal area, urban area, it's very noisy compared to UK. But Europe compared to UK is eerily silent. So I was actually playing the TV without actually watching it so that I could get the immersion of the Slovene language, but also just to make some noise. It was extremely quiet there. But the bed was very comfortable and the whole place was very comfortable. I had my food from the stuff that I had brought, so it was all cool. And I think I went to bed about midnight on that day. I'll finish here for this day, but don't miss the next part because you have to subscribe so that you get the notifications for these videos, because I talk about all of these in as much detail as you have heard just now. And the next day was very pretty because I went to Lake Bohinj, flew the drone, took a lot of pictures, and that flight of the drone there was the best in my whole trip, because I actually spent 2 batteries there and the third one I would have spent, but I didn't have it charged. So I'll talk about that in the next one. But yeah, please subscribe so that you can get the notification. Actually, I was looking at the analytics a couple of days ago and I realized that 97% of people who watch my vlogs are not subscribed. Like, come on guys, what gives? It is free, I'm not selling anything, and if you're enjoying that, come on, click the subscribe button. Anyway, that's up to you. I can just ask nicely. But next one, yes, definitely look out for the next part as well. It's got even more scenery from Slovenia. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.